Thanks, Dr. Klaper. Up next, we have Keith. Keith, if you'd go ahead and unmute yourself, we're looking forward to your question as well.
Yeah, Dr. Klaper, thank you so much for your presentation. I am 70 years old, have eaten healthy, flexitarian diet forever, but in the last 2 or 3 years, I've been 100% plant-based. I look at the diet that you recommended for a daily diet, and it's pretty close to what I eat. I have a regular doctor who I go to every year, and he says, "You're doing great. I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up." I also have a wellness doctor, and which I do through Zoom, and they tell me, they've tested my genetics and my biomarkers, and about the only recommendation they could make to me was that you need to increase your omega-3s. So they suggested fish oil. I started taking fish oil, and I noticed that as soon as I took fish oil, I gained weight. Like 2 or 3 pounds in a course of, a couple of days. And the longer I took it, I took it for about a week, my weight stayed up. So I ejected that and stopped taking the fish oil. Now I'm doing flaxseed, chia seed, hemp hearts on my oatmeal, and I'm also doing more flax seeds on my veggie wrap in the afternoon. But what else can I do to increase my omega-3s?
Well, what a beautiful question. For a couple of reasons, I'm in the exact same position. And I used to be taking the algae-derived DHA, and there might be a place for that if you are just really bottoming out. But there's a question about how accurate the tests are that measure the omega-3s, et cetera. So to cut to the chase here, because I'm not 100% convinced that even taking these algae oils, the intent is good, but they change things. They change the permeability of the brain cells. And in Florida where I live, there's carcinogens in the water. Am I increasing the risk of brain tumors by taking these? Where they suppress the production or the metabolism of EPA, one of the omega-3 fats. When you take the DHA, it changes the metabolism of the EPA. It changes things. It's not a really natural thing to do. So I'm not convinced that a young, healthy person eating lots of flax seeds and chia seeds and walnuts really needs to be taking algae oil, because the reference is, everybody ought to be, all vegans should be taking algae-derived DHA. Well, is that really true? I'm not sure. So I decided to do my own experiment. So for 6 weeks, and I'm in week 4 of it, I've made it a point. Well, then let me go full tilt here. And I made it a point every morning. I take 3 tablespoons of ground up hemp, chia, and flax seeds. And I either put it in my oatmeal, or I put it in a little glass of a little rice milk, and I just spoon it in, plus a handful of walnuts. So, and for 6 weeks, I'm doing this regular good dollop of omega-3 containing foods to see if I can turn the linolenic acid, the 18 carbon atom chain in the flax and chia seeds, into my EPA and DHA in my own tissues. So after 6 weeks of doing this, I'm sending off 4 determinants, all on the same day. I'm going over to Quest and having them do their omega profile, but I'm also sticking my finger and I'm sending off an omega quant to the omega quant folks. I'm sending off a finger stick to Great Smokies Lab, and I'm sending one off to Genova Labs. And I'm going to get all 4 of these back, and it's going to tell me a couple of things. One, if all 4 of them say it didn't do a darn, your omegas are still down in your boots, then I'm be more open to taking the algae. If they are all abundant high, then it worked, and I don't need to be taking algae oil. And so that's a great sign to me that you can do it off of food, but you really got to eat the things. But if they're all over, if one's high, one's low, one's all over, then that gives me a real sour taste about the whole testing thing and people making these big decisions off of that. So basically, right now, I tell you, stay tuned. I'm going to put it out in my newsletter, middle of May, May 15th. Around that week, I'm going to get my omegas checked, and I'll let you know how that turns out. So with you, I don't know what your numbers are, how you're doing. They're very interesting about that weight gain. There's a definite reason for that. I would say either, just stick with your flax, chia, hemp seeds, and walnuts for a couple of months, and then send off a test. I'll be able to tell you which one if you sign up for my newsletter. Or you're 70. The concern is about our dementia risks and brains, whatever. If you wanted to take one of these algae derived, not from fish, but algae derived, that's where fish get it. They don't make it, they get it from the algae. An algae derived capsule, but I don't think you need it every day. Once or twice a week is probably sufficient. That would kind of put you in a middle safe ground, I imagine. So sorry, I can't give you an exact answer. I'll be able to give you a much better one in the middle of next month. But I would say absolutely either way, stay with the flax, chia, hemp seed mix and have a handful of walnuts on most days of unroasted English walnuts. And if you still want a little insurance, one of those algae derived capsules, but no more than a couple times a week. I wouldn't be taking them every day. Best I can do for you today.